Hello friends! Today I'd like to talk to you about the infinitive. At this level, you already know that the infinitive is a verbal form that consists of the base verb and the particle to. For example, to do, to go, to play, and so on. Английский инфинитив и русская неопределенная форма глагола быть, ходить, любить и так далее имеют схожие свойства. В то же самое время у английского инфинитива есть ряд особенностей, которые делают его употребление сложным для изучающих язык. Итак, давайте подробнее рассмотрим, что же такое инфинитив и в каких случаях мы его используем. The infinitive has some properties of the verb. The infinitive names an action, to drive a car, or state, to be sick. It has active and passive forms, to take, to be taken, and can express time, though in a rather limited way. The infinitive can have a direct object, he plans to visit a museum, or a prepositional object, he wants to know about it, and can be modified by an adverb, he tried to walk slowly. The infinitive also has some properties of the noun and can function as the subject of the sentence. To quit now is a mistake. Or as an object. He likes to dance. She asked me to wait. The infinitive can also function as an attribute. He has no desire to see them. As a rule, the infinitive requires the particle to in front. But the particle to can be omitted. After modal verbs, you can go, you must take it. After the verbs make, let, make him do it, let her play. After the verb help in American English, help me find it. And in constructions like she saw him leave, he heard me sing, and so on. The infinitive without the particle to is called bare infinitive. Note that if the verbs make, help, see, hear are used in the passive voice, the infinitive after them keeps the particle to. For example, he was made to leave. She was helped to do it. He was heard to laugh. Keep in mind that the particle to can be used at the end of the sentence without the infinitive, if the infinitive is clearly mentioned earlier in the sentence. For example, he asks me to do this work, but I don't want to. I didn't want to go there, but I had to. And now let's look at the infinitive and its forms. The infinitive has the following active and passive forms. Simple. I asked him to write a report. Continuous. He is supposed to be writing a report now. Perfect. He appears to have written a report already. Perfect continuous. He seems to have been writing a report for 2 hours already. Simple passive. I expect his report to be written tomorrow. Perfect passive. I expect his report to have been written by now. Keep in mind that perfect forms of the infinitive are not used very often in general speech and writing. Let's compare two sentences. He seems to have been writing a report for 2 hours already. Sounds very formal. And it seems that he has been writing a report for 2 hours already. Sounds more natural. All forms of the infinitive are used with modal verbs to create certain meanings of modal verbs. Note that we use bare infinitive with most of the modal verbs. For example, he can write reports. Expresses ability. He must be writing a report now. Expresses deduction. He should have written a report yesterday. Expresses criticism. This report might have been written by one of our freelance workers. Expresses speculation. And now let's talk about the most common uses of the infinitive and take a look at the typical constructions with it. The most common uses of the infinitive are to indicate the purpose or intention of an action, where the to has the same meaning as in order to or so as to. For example, he did it to help her. She came here to study. I went out to buy bread and milk. As the subject of the sentence. For example, to be or not to be, that is the question. To know her is to love her. Keep in mind that this is more common in written English than spoken. As an attribute, with nouns or pronouns to indicate what something can be used for or what is to be done with it. For example, would you like something to drink? I don't have anything to wear. The children need a garden to play in. After adjectives in the following structures. It is plus adjective plus infinitive. For example, it is nice to meet you. It is useless to talk to him. It is hard to be a doctor. For plus noun plus infinitive. For example, it's easy for her to learn English. This is not for us to decide. It was important for him to be present at the meeting. It is plus adjective plus of someone plus infinitive. For example, it's unkind of her to say that. It was very thoughtful of you to bring the flowers. It would be silly of him to spend all his money. After certain verbs, particularly verbs of thinking and feeling. Choose, decide, expect, forget, hope, intend, learn, mean, plan, prefer, remember, want, like, love, hate, would like, would love, and so on. For example, I want to go home. He hopes to see them soon. His daughter is learning to drive. And verbs of saying, agree, promise, refuse, and so on. For example, he refused to help them. He did not promise to do it. Note that depending on the meaning of the sentence, not can be used before the main verb or before the infinitive. Let's compare two sentences. He didn't promise to do it. Он не обещал это сделать. And he promised not to do it. Он обещал этого не делать. Some verbs are followed by a direct object and the infinitive. Advise, ask, encourage, invite, order, persuade, remind, tell, warn, expect, intend, would prefer, want, would like. For example, she reminded me to turn the lights out. He encouraged his friends to vote for him. After how, what, where, which, whether, etc. For example, I don't know what to say. Show me how to do it. I haven't decided yet whether to go there or not. Note, the infinitive without the particle to may be used in questions beginning with why and expressing suggestion, usually in everyday speech. For example, why pay more than necessary? Why waste time on such trifles? Why not wait a little? And now it's time for some exercises. Let's see how well you can use the infinitive. Choose the most appropriate answer. Don't forget to buy some bread. I didn't mean to hurt you. Allow me to help you. Please have him call me by 7. I saw him lock the door and leave. It is easy for you to criticize other people. I was all alone. I had no one to talk to. John was surprised to see me. Remember to turn the lights out. He wants to be told about any problems immediately. That's all for today, friends. See you next time. Good luck!